pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Curry trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
A little bit
Follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of Night 4 of New Smyrna Speedweek here with Excel Racing from the New Smyrna Speedway. Hello and welcome, folks. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky. Joining me up here in the booth tonight, the hometown hero returns, the one and only Mr. Joseph Weaver. Weaver, I know you're here at the track the last few nights, but welcome back to the booth, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Joe, and thanks for everybody at home tuning in tonight. Gonna wrap up a good speed week here at New Smyrna with the Excel Racing League, hopefully with a banger of a race to finish it off.
Saw 2 great races last night. It's been a week, just a week-long affair of some of the best short track racing in all of NR 2003. You get it right here with Excel Racing, and tonight, Richie Evans Memorial 100 laps around this track, Weaver. A different challenge. It's the same challenge that these drivers had to face Monday night, but now they have another 200 laps over the last 2 nights on this speedway.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's going to be New Smyrna out after tonight, but they still got 100 more laps in this main event. Going to crown a champion, another race winner tonight. Send everybody home happy.
This, of course, is your Auto Sim 2 race preview. Auto Sim 2 now available on the Steam store. Pete Labs tuning in. Welcome in. Nice to see you in chat. Make sure if you're out there in viewership land, you say hello. Always love giving folks shout-outs here in the open of the show before we get underway, or even once we do get underway, Weaver. I know it's always a fun part, but we talked about short track racing and the intensity that comes with it. Tonight's race, it's going to be intense for a couple reasons, right? It's the last checkered flag of the week. All these drivers want to be able to claim it. But also these point standings. After night 3, Kyle Lawson holds just a 5-point lead over Chris Rogers, who sits there in second. Michael Berner at 224 most likely will not be able to make up that gap to Lawson for the championship, but he's got Steve Rogers 5 points back at him for the 3rd spot in the championship, and Brian Zapier there with 214 points, 5 more behind Rogers in the 12. A couple tight battles, but I know for tonight and for a lot of the folks at home, I know it's kind of been our focus here in race prep. That battle for the championship between Kyle Lawson and Chris Rogers is going to be a good one.
Absolutely, Joe. Like you said, tonight is the night where we crown our champion and finish out these point standings for everybody. So that means every position is going to matter on the track. Expect everybody to fight hard for every spot because they know that's where the points are going to be made or lost. And after tonight, you can't make no more.
I'm just interested to see this battle, Weaver. I was giddy last night. Ricky and we were having a fun time up here in the booth. It always helps, you know, the good racing that you get here at Excel always helps that atmosphere up in the booth too. But these modifieds too. This is the first time that we're repeating a mod this week. We got the same cars as we did in our first race on Tuesday night. Gives these drivers a little extra comfort. You know, just a little extra comfort. little extra comfort. Circle K Food Stores, number 79, Brian Zapier. Thank you, Mark. See Lawson there in the number 6. House of Color. Of course, one of the 2 Fords here in this race. Everyone else with the Chevrolet power plant underneath them. Drivers getting called back to the garage area to get their cars set up and ready for qualifying. With that, we'll step away and get a word from our partner, AutoSim 2. Have you ever wanted to manage your own racing team? Or what if you could go back in time to see if a particular season could have finished differently? Well, folks, have no fear, because AutoSim 2 is here. With fully customizable roster files, you can create your own world or try to recreate the past. Heck, you could even try to predict the future through AutoSim 2's Sim Mode. Don't like the passive approach? Well, then get more hands-on in owner mode, where you decide who drives your cars and what companies will sponsor them. Down on your luck? Well, then scout some new talent that will get you to the top. Already super successful? Try moving up the ladder or expanding to truly solidify your racing empire. However you want to play, AutoSim 2 has you covered and is now available for purchase through the Steam store for $9.99. Now go make your mark and build your legacy in AutoSim 2. And again, folks, AutoSim 2 is now available on the Steam store for $9.99. Go check it out at the conclusion of our race here tonight. And if you want to find out more and learn a little more about how the game works, you can head right on over to our channel here on YouTube. And we have a good tutorial video that also takes you through how you can mod the game to personalize it even more to what you like behind the wheel or what you like in racing. Again, that's AutoSim 2, now available on the Steam store. We're going to see qualifying results start to trickle across the top of your screens at home. Right now, Kyle Lawson with the provisional pole at a time of 16.197 seconds. Waiting for qualifying to conclude. There's something magical about Speedweeks down here in Florida, isn't there?
It just feels right, Joe.
Any good Speedweeks memories?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of my younger days. I went to the truck race for many years running. Sadly, haven't been able to make a trip out to New Smyrna for their happenings, but went out to Volusia dirt track a time or two.
I think World of Outlaws has their season opener tonight at Volusia, and then World Series of Asphalt either starts tonight or tomorrow night here at New Smyrna. We'll go with tomorrow night to keep the realism, because Excel still has to finish up their action here, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's just there's a lot going on. It's fun driving around town. You see a lot of crew members everywhere you go. Every now and then you see a hauler driving around. Feels like a racing town again.
Well, from a racing town to a starting lineup, Weaver, qualifying has concluded. Why don't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
With pleasure, Joe. Starting on pole is the 6 of Kyle Lawson. He put down a time of 16.167. Outside row 1, the man he's been battling all week, the 00, Chris Rogers. Row 2, we have the 79 of Brian Zapier and the 95 of William Beecham. And on row 3, we have the 11 of Mike Rogers and the 12 of Steve Rogers.
So only 6 cars here tonight for our final race of the week. This will most likely solidify a couple of those points battles there in the back half of the top 5. We'll flash that on your screens again in the bottom left. With Michael Berner not here tonight, he will most likely drop a couple positions. Still got about a 5-point gap there between Steve Rogers and Brian Zapier for what will be the third spot in the points. So we'll watch that battle as well. But of course, all eyes are going to be on the 6 and 00 there, starting on the front row. See how they race each other. We know they're going to race really hard. They're going to race really close, and they'll race clean. Talked with both of them about that last night, Weaver, and it wasn't an answer that I wasn't expecting, right? I feel like there's a lot of respect here at Excel. But, you know, sometimes some of the best moments come from that never say die, never quit, or, give it everything, give it 130% attitude that often involves a little bit of contact.
Oh yeah, Joe. These guys they're all good friends, a very respectable group, like you said. But when it comes down to it, this is a competition. You know, they ain't out here just for fun. There's bragging rights. There's a lot that hangs in the line here. This is a yearly event that holds a lot of weight to these guys, and they're all gonna give their best to go out there and win in any way that they can.
There's our pole sitter Lawson in the number 6. Keep our eyes on him, kind of see how he's attacking this track. These modifieds, they really go down into these corners, Weaver. Obviously, a little more grip with the open wheels, fatter tires on these cars, too. When you think about, we talk about physics, and we only had, every race this week has been GNS physics, aside from the street stock race last night. The physics are the same, but the cars, they feel different, they look different. And sometimes those visual cues in sim racing can be the biggest, the biggest differentiator between different cars.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. For the most part, these cars have all driven relatively the same that we've seen these drivers race this week. But like you say, those visual cues, how you're seeing the car, it's all different. The views are going to be different. Everything is, and that can really affect how you drive more so than how the game is telling you how the car drives.
There's Steve Rogers in the number 12 Quaker State Bodine chassis Chevrolet. Good looking paint on that car. Bunch of great looking cars here. Zapier there in the 79. Talked about how he trails Steve Rogers by 5. Got to get loose down there in 1 and 2. They'll go for a spin. It's never good when the cameras catch you having a little self-spin in practice, is it?
Hey, if you're going to do it in practice. Get out your system now.
Chris Rogers in the 00. Coors Light JDL Environmental Chevrolet. Another good looking paint on that car. Now Chris is obviously the one that's going to have to fight a little bit more to have a chance at this week-long championship. Lawson getting the bonus point for the pole award too here, Weaver. It's a smaller field, so less separation between the finishing positions. If you're Rogers in this 00, are you gonna be aggressive early? Or are you gonna kind of wait things out? What's the mindset?
I think his best case scenario is probably being aggressive from the start. I think that's his best chance of, A, he knows he has to go out here and win this race, and B, he probably is going to need a few slip-ups there from Lawson, and the best way to do that is put the pressure on him from the beginning and maximize that time that he has to make those mistakes.
Well, there'll be a lot of time to make mistakes tonight. Another 100-lap main event of the week. Feature race number 6. Fans are on their feet here as we await the command.
Start your engine!
And as these 6 modified stars get their engines cranked and roll off the pit lane, let's take you through tonight's starting lineup one more time. It's going to be Kyle Lawson in the number 6, starting from the pole again at a time of 16.167 seconds. Chris Rogers in the 00 going to start to his outside there on row number 1. Row 2 is the 79 of Brian Zapier and the 95 of William Beecham. And rounding out your field of 6 on row number 3, Mike Rogers in the 11 and Steve Rogers in the 12. Field going to make their way through turns 3 and 4. Lawson with control on the bottom in that yellow and orange number 6. As we get ready to take the final green flag of the week, and we're underway here from New Smyrna Speedway.
A little bit of a rough start there for the 95 William Beecham. He's going to fall to the back after that, starting second on the outside line. He stays ahead at the 12.
Our leaders replicating the start to last night's second race. Weaver still side by side here, over a lap into it.
Talk about Chris Rogers putting that pressure on early, and he's trying it now, holding steady on that outside line, pulling a little bit on the straightaways.
He's keeping the momentum up by running that larger radius through these corners, trying to hug that 6 car down. Going to look for a crossover here down the back straightaway. Some momentum coming from the 00, but not enough to get to the inside. Lawson secures the lead here through 3 and 4.
As soon as that green flag dropped, both these drivers knew it was go time. They're running qualifying laps out here right now, Joe.
Qualifying laps that are going to quickly taper off, Weaver. 100 laps here. You got to try to save these tires a little bit. We believe there will be pit stops, but also we feel like these drivers, they like to play pranks on us. Field is single file though, so we'll keep our eyes up here on the 2 leaders. It's some more wide angle shots early on in this race, but Weaver, I mean, we talked about it. 6 in the 00, they're going to be the class of the field tonight. They've already pulled out to a decent lead from the rest of the field. If you're Chris Rogers in this 00 now, the 6 has gotten by you. He's got the clean air on the nose of that car. Do you start to think about tire saving and then maybe making a charge here in 10 to 15 laps?
I think that could be what we're seeing right now. Chris Rogers knew he couldn't hold that position. He lost it there after a few laps trying to hang on the outside, but now I think he's trying to manage those tires and wait for a time to pounce.
Waiting for his opportunity there in the second position is Chris Rogers in the 00. We go further back as Steve Rogers has made his way around Mike Rogers in the 11 and is now looking to get around the 95 of William Beecham. Steve Rogers into the wall there off of turn number 2. He ducks low after the contact. Allows the 11, that pink car of Michael Rogers, to get on by, and Steve Rogers still struggling in the 12. They're trying to collect that race car, but Weaver, a disastrous lap for the driver that assumed the 3rd place position in the points at the start of this race.
Very much so, Joe. That was a very hard impact with the outside wall in turn 2. Wouldn't be surprised if he's got some damage. It looks like he's still trying to figure it out. Might have something stuck on the pedals there.
Issues plaguing the start of this race for the 12 of Steve Rogers. Looks like he's gotten things collected back up. Back up front, though, it's still Kyle Lawson in the 6, the 00 of Chris Rogers there in 2nd, and William Beecham starting to put some pressure on Brian Zapier for the 3rd position.
Kyle Lawson extending his lead just ever so slightly at every lap. Both of those top 2 extending their lead on the field as Zapier gets moved up the hill. Beecham below him. He's saving it, and he's around on the back straightaway.
Caution going to be out for the first time tonight. You saw it live. William Beecham goes for a spin here off of turn number 2.
He was working to make a pass down low in 1 and 2. Got loose and ended up with a little bit of help getting turned around there by the 11 of Mike Rogers.
And there clips the apron. And as you said, just second.
Is loose, slow, trying to save it. Nowhere for Mike Rogers to go there in the 11.
He's out our first caution tonight. We'll get these boys grouped back up. One driver really appreciative of that yellow, of course, is the driver of number 12.
He gets to go down, assess what damage might be on that car, get it fixed, regroup.
Still down there on the pit lane. Now rolling. Michael Rogers and William Beecham both stayed out there that first time by, now coming back down the pit lane, so it gives the lead back to Kyle Lawson, who won the race off pit road. Chris Rogers there in second, Brian Zapier in third. Well, folks, it may be the end of New Smyrna Speedway with the Excel Racing League, but we got plenty of great racing action coming up for you here on JTN in February, starting off next Monday night, February the 13th, with the TMP Super Cup Series from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Coverage begins 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Then the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series kicks off their 2023 season from Daytona, February 16th at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And Open Speedway hosts their Open Speedway Daytona 500 on Saturday, February 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll kick off our coverage of that one, those races, and much, much more, of course, live right here only on JTN. At Saturday, too, we'll also have the USORL Cup Series from Talladega later on in the night, so going to be pulling double duty that day, Weaver. I will be.
Big double duty.
Big double duty. About, 750 miles of racing. And then I get to
Glad
call,
you can do it.
get to call a race the next night, too, with Fast. And then a race the next night with TMP. And then a race the following night with Hobo. We go on a streak there where we're broadcasting 4 days in a row, so you don't want to miss it. If you liked this week, liked all the racing, well, guess what? You're going to get it again here midway through the month.
It was slow there for a little while, but February marks the start for most people. When they look at their calendar, it gets to February, they know racing's back, and boy is it ever here at JTN.
We'll go back green flag racing next time by. Remember, pace car going to pull off down the pit lane. These guys will get double file for a shootout style restart. Leader will have control. It'll be Kyle Lawson leading them back. Mike Rogers there in second. He'll line up to the outside. Chris Rogers, Brian Zapier, Steve Rogers, and William Beecham.
Interesting note there, a few drivers deciding to come back down after their initial service, namely 00 Chris Rogers came back down, took a little splash of fuel, made sure that thing had a lot of gas in it. Might be gearing up just in case we go green to the end here.
Fuel gonna be a problem, is the indicator there. So Lawson with control as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4. He'll lead us back to green, come to lap 20 of 100. As we wait these cars to get back to the line. Green flag, we're back underway. Good restart there by Lawson. He gets clear of Mike Rogers early, and they're thinking about going 3 wide there for a second for third, Weaver, but everyone plays nice.
Even if he didn't get a good start, the 00 Chris Rogers behind him got a good start. He was going to push him through that corner.
So Chris Rogers retakes second. Now we kind of keep our eyes here on the battle for third. Ryan Zapier in the 79 going to be looking to try to get it back. Mike Rogers in the 11 putting down some great lap times in this number 11.
At 12, Steve Rogers decided to come back down pit road as we were going green.
He's got some issues on that car, doesn't he?
Yeah, Joe, I think so. Maybe just trying to get it full of fuel there, maybe? I'm not too sure. Although at the front, the 6, Kyle Lawson's starting to spread his legs on the field already.
What are the lap times between those two leaders looking like?
Last time by, 6 ran a 16.54. Chris Rogers ran a 16.68. Keeps in check, losing about 0.2 a lap.
I think he's trying to save the fuel, Weaver.
I think so as well. He's running 16.9 that time by, way off his pace for this early in a run. Maybe trying to save a little tire, save a little fuel.
And talk about maybe for some of the folks at home that might be a little more novice, might be the first time they're tuning in. When we talk about a driver backing it down, going a little bit slower, obviously that doesn't make a lot of sense up front, but why is Chris doing that in that 0-0?
Well, I think we saw it there on that first run where he was giving it that 110%, and he just couldn't quite keep up with the 6 at peak pace. So that's when you start throwing the strategy in there and try and come up with other ways that you can plan yourself to make that pass rather than doing it just on speed alone. There's a lot of racing that isn't just raw speed and passing. A lot of things that you have to kind of set up. You have to wait a little bit. You got to save some tires, save some fuel, and play a little game of chess instead of checkers.
When you take a look through the field, everyone's staying nice and single file right now. See Kyle Lawson in the number 6, your race leader. And Lawson, too, with him not coming down to try to top off on fuel, that has me thinking that he's just decided, all right, I'm going to have to pit again. I'm not going to worry about the point, or I'm not going to worry about the gas. I'm worrying about the points. And he's just going to push the issue here, Weaver, and just try to get as big of a gap, try to see if he can lead the most laps here before halfway in this race, because that's another bonus point. And then kind of go from there to build a strategy.
Yeah, these last few laps, though, 0-0 has started laying down some faster laps, cutting into the gap just a little bit here. It was almost at a 1.5 seconds, now almost down to just a second. I think the thing to remember with Lawson's strategy is it's still all in his hands. If you're out there running 100%, you know, you're making your bed, you're going to lay in it, and you know what's going to happen. If you're the 0-0 Chris Rogers and you are out here saving a little fuel, you're really hoping you don't get a caution. This thing does run green to the end if you think you're going to be good on fuel and the 6 won't be. So then, you know, you're putting aspects of the race into the other driver's hands. That does have a chance to backfire on you.
You race car drivers, you want everything in your hands, right? It's hard when the crew chief tells you that you need to do X, Y, or Z.
It's all really preference. I know some people like to play the game, and some people like to have everything in their control. I think personally I like to have a little bit more control, but sometimes you have to do what you got to do.
Steve Rogers in the 12. He's a couple laps down here. He's hot on the tail, though. Mike Rogers in the 11, who sits in third. Michael doing a good job in this race. I know it's been a struggle this week for this 11 team, but having a good showing here tonight. Gonna get loose. I'm gonna stop talking so nice about him as to not throw one of those jinxes or hexes on him. Gotta be careful, Weaver. You gotta be. This microphone, man, it has some crazy power over these drivers.
It definitely does, Joe. We've don't have the best track record when it comes to that jinx. That time by gap to second 1.15. It's been hovering at around that area for the past 4 or so laps here.
Steve Rogers getting on by Michael Rogers in the 11. We go back up to the front. Let's get you a wide shot here. Kind of gives you a good idea of what this lead looks like. Orange car out in front is Kyle Lawson in the 6th. That gray car there, center of your screen. Chris Rogers in the 0. They come down the back straightaway, and that 0 is getting a little bigger in the rearview mirror for the 6. But it seems like Lawson might have decided to start pushing the issue a little bit more, pushing the pace.
Yeah, I think so. I think he noticed that 0 was closing in. He's starting to try and put a little bit of that gap back on him. It does take a little while. I've always noticed the car looks bigger out the front of your window than it does in your mirror coming behind you.
Whose shoes would you rather be in? The guy that's looking out the rear view or the guy that's looking out the windshield?
There's a certain safety to running first. You got the position. There's nothing you got to do. You just got to hold it. But I do kind of like the running in second. You got something to go out there. You got somebody to follow. You got more reference points, in my opinion. I just always get in my nerves when I was leading. You get easy to shake yourself up. Closing in on halfway here, going to be 3 laps when we cross the line.
This thing flying by.
Absolutely, that's going to be another bonus point for the 6 of Kyle Lawson if we keep running how we are.
You're trying to get as many points in the bank because you never know what's going to happen in one of these races. I like points racing, Weaver. It's fun.
It just adds another fold into it, gives us a little something more to think about.
You a fan of the winning you're in?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Okay.
I think there's still an aspect of it where you still need the points. Points matter. Get more wins, it helps, but... Gap at the front staying relatively the same. A little further back in the field, looks like the 79 of Brian Zapier starting to catch up to Michael there in the 11.
He's pulled away, too, from the 95 of Beecham. All this while Lawson's continuing to close the gap to the back of the field. And Lawson is now solidified, leading the most laps here tonight.
Chris Rogers, though, starting to mount a little bit of a charge here. Got the gap under a second, now down to 8/10. Eleven of Mike Rogers coming down pit road.
Pit stop for the 11, looking to split this second half of the race close to in half.
Now, there was only 2 cars that did not pit a second time that last caution. It was the 11 of Mike Rogers and the 6, your leader, of Kyle Lawson. Going to be keeping an eye on him. Maybe he has to come down for service here soon.
Lawson visually losing time, right? This 0 of Chris Rogers is closing the gap fast, looking to try to take the lead here. Just over halfway in this race for the first time. It's going to be a tall task for the 0 to win this points championship. But one more checkered flag to make it an even split between these two over the course of the week probably isn't something that, you'd be too upset with if you're the 0 or the 6. So, just watching Chris Rogers in this 0. We talked about saving the tires, saving the gas, Weaver. And now it's starting to pay off as he is putting some pressure on Lawson in the 6.
Yeah, he had a pretty big gap on him, but now he's on his bumper, giving him a lot to think about.
Trying not,
getting real close there off of turn 2.
trying not to put a wheel wrong here. You don't want to make any contact. That could be cataclysmic for both of these drivers. Brian Zapier now on the pit lane in the 79 as Rogers continues to try to put some pressure on Lawson for the lead. 00 going to get to the inside down the back straightaway, but not enough momentum. 6 continues to pull clear. He's running about, what would you call that, Weaver? Half a car width higher up the track?
Yeah, we've seen that all week from Lawson. He likes running a little bit higher, kind of doing a arc and almost diamond in the corner, but Chris Rogers continues to dip that nose on corner exit. He's trying to look low, can't really get that drive off to really make it stick down there, though.
A lot of crossovers between these two last night when they were swapping the lead back and forth. So could be looking at, if you're Rogers in the 00 as he gets now to the inside here off of turn number 2, going to be looking for the lead down into 3 and 4. Lawson going to be able to use the outside and the momentum, but Rogers, shorter way around, prevails. Chris Rogers takes the lead for the first time coming to lap 63.
Lawson looked like he was going to have a look at a crossover there, doesn't get it done. Got to imagine that 6 might be looking to come down pit road here soon. Might have just wanted to get that position taken care of instead of running side by side.
Textbook pass from the driver of the 00. Gets around Kyle Lawson in the number 6 on the back half of this run. Now we await to see when these cars will come down the pit lane. Lawson pitting this time.
Almost a mistake. They're getting down to pit road, slowing down at the last possible second.
Something special about Excel green flag pit stops with the modifieds.
And a yellow is out. That's going to trap quite a few cars. Laps down.
Oh, contact with the 79 and 12. APR runs into the right, or left rear rather. As Steve Rogers sends the 12 for a spin, Weaver. And you talked about it, going to trap pretty much the whole field a lap down, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Kyle Lawson got lucky, was able to get back out of pit road there. Just drove right by his stall, didn't take service, I believe. Was able to get back out before he went a lap down.
Heads up driving from driver number 6. Let's see, from pit lane 1. It's not going to give us a good view. You get a look at it, wait for these caution lights to come on. Yeah, look at it. If Lawson would have stopped there, Weaver.
It was very, very close. It's about as close as you're going to get. And really, he didn't even know the yellow was out. I think he just saw those drivers spinning ahead of him and knew that yellow was about to be thrown. He took back off before the yellow came out.
So heads up driving by driver number 6, Kyle Lawson.
As it stands, Chris Rogers, Kyle Lawson, 2 drivers still on the lead lap. Everybody else 2 laps down.
Puts a damper on the parade for the rest of the field, doesn't it?
Well, if you want to look at it as positive, I'm sure many of them didn't think they had anything for that 6 or 00, but they're still racing everybody else. Big break for the 12. Now everybody else is on the same lap as him.
So it should be going back green in 2 laps time. Those pace car lights are out. Remember, your shootout style restarts will let the pace car pull off and then get these drivers double file. Weaver, you got your popcorn?
I've been munching on it all race, Joe. It's been an exciting one. Might need a refill before it's done.
No one has left these grandstands here at the new Smyrna Speedway. They got all the eyes are on the track as Chris Rogers going to have control here for the restart. Kyle Lawson there in second in the number 6. Steve Rogers, Brian Zapier, William Beecham, and Mike Rogers. That's how we line up for the restart. The 11 car, though, should be the third place driver. He gets a lap back there. So it'll be a lap ahead of the rest of the field, too. So going to help Mike get a little bit of an advantage here for the last part of this race, barring a caution.
Mike on a lap all by himself, 12:79 on 2 laps down. 95 Beecham 3.
And back away we go. Green flag once again here. Lap 72 of 100 from New Smyrna Speedway.
Good restart for Lawson there on the outside. He's going to hold even here coming off turn 2.
Rogers in the 00 on the bottom. Lawson on the outside. The script is flipped and the 6 is in the wall. Contact.
Holding it real tight there off of turn 4, and contact was made. 6 into the wall. We stay green. He keeps it going straight. Now Chris Rogers in the lead. He has a big gap back to second place.
A gap in buffer cars, Weaver.
Chris Rogers, smart move there, letting the 12 Steve Rogers by. No reason to put up a fight.
Get you guys a replay of that contact. Getting battle going down. It's turns 3 and 4. Weaver, that was just hitboxes being weird. I don't think they actually made any contact.
Yeah, Joe, it's just like you said before the race, these drivers aren't going to give each other an inch. They got real close there, like you said. Probably shouldn't have been contact, but we all know how this game goes.
The contact sends Kyle Lawson to the back of the field, but still in the second position here. Chris Rogers is your leader, although he's starting to fall back into the clutches of the number 6. Steve Rogers in the 12 has gotten a lap back. He's gotten around the 00. Ryan Zapier going to be looking to do the same thing in the 79. Closing in on 20 laps to go.
Don't think that 00 of Chris Rogers is going to let Brian Zapier by like he did Steve Rogers here. That's his only buffer car he's got left now. Couple drivers making contact with the apron there on the exit of turn 4.
And Lawson gets around Zapier with ease. And Chris Rogers has picked the pace back up. He's starting to heat up the rear bumper of the 12 of Steve Rogers. And this to put the 12 a second lap down.
Chris Rogers is going to need to find a way around this 12 car and fast. Kyle Lawson is closing in.
Kyle Lawson trying to claim one more victory, his 4th of the week. Chris Rogers looking for a 3rd. Both drivers have been the top. They've been just been the top guys, Weaver. I was going to look for something fun to say, but I'm just going to say it how it is. These two drivers have been the best two drivers here all week, and we're once again going to see a duel between them.
Chris Rogers get to the bottom. Little bit of a love tap there down the back straightaway.
I can get away with that down the straightaways. Can't get away with it on corner entry. We saw that last night.
No, not at all. Kyle Lawson also gets by, follows him through there on the inside, doesn't lose much time. He's still on the bumper. Tight here.
Kyle Lawson in the 6 starting to push the issue, trying to find a way around Chris Rogers in the 00. Rogers holding on to the lead. Again, you see the difference in line. The 6 a little bit higher up the track, trying to carry momentum down these straightaways. Rogers, though, wrapping that yellow line at both ends of the speedway, trying to keep low and not let the 6 get to his inside.
Lawson is there, but being there is only half the battle. How are you going to get around that 00? Like you said, he's planted on that yellow line, comes off it just a little bit there just to get a better drive off, but never really given enough to stick a nose in below him.
Kyle Lawson trying to figure out a way to get around Chris Rogers in the 00, trying to do what he did last night and win one of these races, and win. Chris Rogers trying to do what he did last night as well and win. Two drivers that have claimed all the checkered flags this week. They run 1-2 with just over 10 laps to go. When you get good racing like this, you don't get tired of racing the same guy, right, Weaver?
No, I don't think so, Joe. I mean, we've seen some close racing all week between these two. It's really what we've come to expect when we come here and broadcast for Excel.
So we hit the line that time for our TWB 10 to go. Remember, folks, you can head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com for porches, patios, to more. For all your outdoor lighting needs, they have you covered. GardenLightsDirect.com, TWB 10 to go.
Now just 9 more circuits. Kyle Lawson heavy on that rear bumper. Chris Rogers hasn't really been looking inside or out just yet. Just trying to keep that pressure on him. Maybe waiting to set up a move here late.
Try to set him up once we get to 5 to go. Just put the pressure on right now and hope he lays a wheel wrong.
Well, depending on what kind of move you make, you don't want to leave him any time to get you some retaliation.
You want to... If you're one of these two guys, you want to be the guy that makes the last move, right?
I would say so, Joe. The last move's usually the one that wins it.
Well, the clock's about to strike midnight on the chances for Kyle Lawson to win this race as Chris Rogers still holds on to the lead. Lawson is there in the 6. We're seeing another duel here tonight between the 00 and the 6. Going to be 5 laps to go this time at the line. William Beecham coming down pit lane.
Beecham letting them go by, who didn't want to hamper this race any.
Off of 3 and 4. Rogers able to extend the lead, 4 laps to go. Is the 6 starting to lose it, Weaver?
He's put a little bit of a gap on him. He might be losing it. He might just be trying to cool down those tires a little bit for one last push here.
3 to go.
That gap is getting just a little bit bigger, up to half a second now.
Chris Rogers starting to pull away in the final few laps of this race. The first half was dominated by Kyle Lawson, who sits in second and is seeing that 00 start to disappear out his windshield. 2 laps to go here from New Smyrna Speedway. Off of turn number 4, white flag will be in the air. 1 lap to go. Chris Rogers with the lead, just looking for one final solid lap. Down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. One final set of corners. Fans race to their feet, and Chris Rogers takes home Richie Evans Memorial 100.
Great drive there by the 00 late. Chris Rogers putting that car right where it needed to be to hold off all the attacks of Kyle Lawson. Just wasn't able to get it done in the closing laps there.
And Lawson with a remarkable rally after the contact that we saw there on the restart. contact that I don't think had any actual contact, but Lawson will take home the week-long championship by finishing second. So both these drivers going to get to burn it down for the fans.
Faithful fans who have stuck us out for 4 nights of racing, 2 doubleheader nights. They've enjoyed some great racing, and they're seeing some great burnouts to finish it off.
A fantastic week of racing, folks. And remember, if you want to get in on the action, you can head to excelracing.net. Short track racing on Monday nights here. Again, it's excelracing.net. We have it linked in the live stream chat as well as in the video description below. They're having a little fun out there, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, Chris gonna pull it down into victory lane here on the front straightaway. We will get ready to give you some results. We'll talk with our podium finishers here this evening as well. Chris Rogers, your race winner. Kyle Lawson, second. And Mike Rogers, your third place finisher. With that being said, though, folks, we're going to step away for 1 second and get a word for the hit new game that you're going to love if you give it a try, AutoSim 2. Have you ever wanted to manage your own racing team? Or what if you could go back in time to see if a particular season could have finished differently? Well, folks, have no fear because AutoSim 2 is here. With fully customizable roster files, you can create your own world or try to recreate the past. Heck, you could even try to predict the future through AutoSim 2's Sim Mode. Don't like the passive approach? Well, then get more hands-on in Owner Mode, where you decide who drives your cars and what companies will sponsor them. Down on your luck? Well, then scout some new talent that will get you to the top. Already super successful? Try moving up the ladder or expanding to truly solidify your racing empire. However you want to play, AutoSim 2 has you covered and is now available for purchase through the Steam store for $9.99. Now go make your mark and build your legacy in AutoSim 2. And again, folks, AutoSim 2 now available on the Steam store. Go check it out. And also be on the lookout for when the Steam sales start. We're going to try to jump in on those too and get you folks a great deal. All right. Results incoming. Still waiting on them. Still waiting for these drivers to make it into the media center. They're enjoying themselves down there still. After a thrilling week of racing. Let's get you your results.
The party started, Joe. It's hard to get these drivers away from a party.
Yeah, they like to party, don't they?
Who doesn't?
We've gone first to last all week. Do you want to go third to first? What do you say?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Change it up?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the driver of the number 11, Michael Rogers. Mike, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I mean, it felt like it was a tough week for you in this 11 team, but tonight you finished third. You get that last really good finish here. What's it feel like to get the good finish here in the Richie Evans Memorial 100?
Oh, finally. I definitely did have a bad week, and I think pit strategy tonight paid off. I waited till about the halfway mark to get tires, and it paid off for me. The caution came out right after I made the pit stop, so I only took right side tires, and on that caution I took 4 tires. So I think the strategy paid off for me.
Well, tire strategy paid off. What, when you look back at this week, the struggles, the adversity, I mean, night one with the Outlaws, it started with a big wreck there at the end for you and the 11 team. What's the big takeaway after a week like this? Obviously, everyone enjoys these events down there on the track and us up here in the booth alike, but what's your big takeaway?
I think I have to be a little bit more patient. A little bit more patient with my driving, and I need to work on the track setup for each car. I think that's my biggest problem. I don't practice enough, but I think with more practice and getting the setup underneath me, I think I could be a little bit more competitive.
Well, a solid game plan, Mike. Again, congratulations on the podium here tonight. Before we let you go, though, want to give you the opportunity. I know you got a lot of great partners behind you. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
Oh, yeah, I definitely want to thank Dano from Dano Skins and Kenny Shipley for helping us out when they could. We definitely miss them. I definitely miss racing with them, and they were definitely good friends. I want to give a shout out to Streamline Graphics for everything they've done for us, as well as Andrew Hertz at Track Connection. And I definitely want to thank you at JTN. You definitely put on a good event and coverage for us. And I want to thank you very much. And I want to thank my sponsors, Rage Evercoat Body Filler, for everything they've done for me, and also for Goodies Citrus Headache Powders.
Well, Mike, again, cannot thank you enough for your time after this one. Congratulations on the third place run here tonight, and we hope to be hearing more from you in the upcoming events that we're doing here with Excel.
Okay, thank you very much.
Michael Rogers, driver of the number 11, your third place finisher here tonight. Let's go ahead and next bring in our second place finisher, but he's also our new Smyrna Speedweek champion, driver of the number 6, Kyle Lawson. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. I got to ask you, are there frustrations after the contact there with the 00? We looked at it. It looked like it was a hitbox thing. But were you starting to see red there trying to drive back up there and get to his back bumper and make a pass for the lead?
No, not really, because I'm pretty sure it was a hitbox thing. I know Chris ain't just going to drive me up and stuff me like that. And then after the fact, I tried to get back in it, and yeah, smoked the tires pretty good heading into the wall, so that kind of hurt me a little bit, put me at a disadvantage. About the last 5 laps, I just couldn't hang with him no more to try to capitalize on a mistake.
Did you kind of get over that peak there then? Because it looked like you were hanging with them, and then it just out of nowhere it falls off. Was there did you just kind of reach that peak of the tires to where, it just became impossible to try to stay with him and try to make a pass?
Yeah, definitely, because like I said, I smoke at right front going into the wall, and it showed about 10 to go. It really started wanting to push to the wall, so I'd had change up corner entry, and Chris's tires were still pretty good at that point. So you start losing a little bit of ground, and then next thing you know, 5 laps later, you lose quarter of a straightaway. So it's one of them things where it's frustrating, but I can't be frustrated with Chris on it.
Well, I think one thing that I'm taking away from this race is you are a mastermind when it comes to race awareness, because there's, you're coming down pit lane to make your green flag pit stop, and then all of a sudden the 12 and the 79, they're making contact right out your windshield there in turn 1, and you make the heads up move to not stop in the box and drive through pit lane. Is that just an experience thing? Is that how did that kind of end up shaping your race here? Because obviously it helped keep you on the lead lap there with the caution coming out.
Oh, definitely. That's that comes with experience of running this since 2007 and knowing what goes on when the caution comes out, where you're at, if you're committed to pit road, if you're not. And then sometimes on these short tracks, it's difficult to stay committed to it and not get penalized for something just because of the short track environment of the game. It's definitely got to pay attention at all times. And I was hoping to get down on pit road right there and get 4 new tires or 2 new tires and try to track Chris back down, but that didn't work out. So we had that short run at the end.
Oh, Kyle, one last question for you here. Obviously, you take home the 3 checkered flags this week. You're also taking home the big trophy. What does it mean to, kind of take home a week-long championship here at Excel? These are big events. Obviously, everyone's out there putting their best foot forward, trying to win each and every night, each and every race. But at the end of it, you come out on top. What's that like for you? How does it feel? What's the significance of it?
Oh, anytime you can get a championship here at Excel, it's you're grateful for it. They don't come with ease by any means. It don't matter if it's a week long or if it's three race every other week or whatever. Anytime you can put a championship beside your name here at Excel, you've earned it. And I've earned quite a few over the past couple of years here at Excel with me running here for the long time I have. And it's a championship is definitely something you earn here. It's not given to you. It's not, you race for it and you race hard for it, and they'll come around and you'll start winning them.
Well, Kyle, again, congratulations on that championship. All the success this week, the second place finish tonight. But before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity one last time. You got a lot of great partners with this six. You know what to do, buddy.
I want to thank Streamline or Track Connection with Andrew. I want to thank Rogers for everything they do, making sure that we got a place to race every Monday night and put up these shows on. I want to thank you guys at JTN for everything you do. I want to give a shout out to Dano. This was one of the skins Dano painted up for me. Still running it today. Give a shout out to Kenny. He's hanging in there, close to our hearts. So it's definitely different without the two guys here, but we're still trucking along.
Well, Kyle, again, congratulations. Cannot thank you enough for your time. And go celebrate that championship, buddy.
Thank you.
Kyle Lawson, he's the driver of the number 6. He's your second place finisher tonight, and he's your Excel Racing New Smyrna Speedweek champion. Go ahead and finally bring in our race winner. He's the driver of the 00. He takes home the Richie Evans Memorial 100 checkered flag tonight. Chris Rogers. Chris, you got a copy.
Hey, Joe, I got you.
All right. Big restart there late in the late stages of the race. You're side by side with the 6. Hit boxes get a little weird with the modifieds. At that point when, things get set off, how does it kind of change your outlook on the end of this race?
Well, before we even made it to the restart, I definitely wasn't happy when that caution came out, because I was good to go to the end. I was good on fuel. I managed my tires really good when Kyle was out front a little ways, so I had plenty of tire to still go. I seen him dive in the pits, and I'm like, I got it. And I was trying to get around as fast as I could to put him a lap down, and just as I was coming around to do so, the caution came out. So that changed the entire complexion of the race. But we both sailed the thing down to the turn 3 like we normally do, and we were right up against each other, and unfortunately, we just got a little too close. He ended up with the short end of the stick, and I apologize for that. It really sucks. Not the way I like to race anybody, especially him. Definitely not the way I like to win, but it's all part of short track racing, unfortunately.
I don't think there's anything to be take blame. I think it's just like you said, it's a product of you guys racing so close. But obviously this week you're gonna come up short in that championship battle. Gonna finish second. You get the race win here. You tie Kyle with wins, both with 3 apiece. After such a successful week, how do you reflect on these 6 races? You take home the biggest prize of the week with this last race win. But how do you reflect on this week? Is it any different than you would on a week-to-week basis? Maybe reflect on a single race versus racing 4 nights in a row here at the same track. What's that reflection process look like?
For me personally, it's winning the Richie Evans Memorial race is really big. I had this race. I don't want to say I had it won, but I had a pretty good shot at winning it last year, and we puked the motor with about 40 to go. And then the first year that we ran Speedweek, I got bitten by some gremlins and lost that race as well. So to be able to bring home the biggest race of the week, means a lot. The week in a whole, I would definitely call it a huge success. We had really, really good racing all throughout the week. I'm really proud of all of my guys. They definitely put on a good showing for all the fans. It's definitely something everybody enjoyed. I hope the fans enjoyed it just as well, and it's something we plan on continuing to do in the future.
Well, Chris, again, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Before we let you go, though, again, want to give you the opportunity. You got a lot of great sponsors, partners on the car, but also you got a great league here with Excel. You got a great pitch to get folks out here, so I want to give you a bunch of time to do so. So the floor is yours, buddy.
The car I ran tonight was a little twist between my real modified and my car owner's modified. I got to thank the Outlaw Motorsports guys for everything they've done for me. Coors Light, JD Environmental, Stock Car Fan Nation, Golden Nugget Las Vegas, Nolan Ryan Beef, Covino Enterprises, LFR Merkle Race Engines. They definitely put a heck of a hot rod on the racetrack tonight. I got to thank you guys up in the booth. It's really been a pleasure working with you, Weaver, and Ricky all week long. You guys definitely put out some really, really good broadcasts. Made us look really good out there. So we greatly appreciate everything that you do for us. We definitely look forward to the future to working with you guys. We definitely got some other big events getting ready to planned for the future. Definitely plan on doing Turkey Derby again in November. Possibly a couple other handful of races. So we're looking forward to working with you guys once again. Got to thank Andrew over at Track Connection, Streamline Graphics. Andrew, as I said it, every night he's been a really big supporter of us for years. We thank him for everything he's done for us. Dano and Kenny, I know they're looking down, smiling. We miss them every day. It doesn't get any easier, but we continue to race and we continue to do what they love most. And we sit here and race in their honor and their memory, and we just keep on trucking. I got to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and to everybody who tuned in all week. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If anybody wants to get involved with in racing with us, we race a lot of short track stuff. Right now, we race primarily on Monday nights. We're currently getting ready to start our third week of late models and modified. We've been alternating weeks with a Southern tour. If anybody's interested in getting involved in anything, head on over to the website, www.xlracing.net. You can browse the website, look through all the pages, see what we have to offer. We got some really cool series that we have over here, a lot of different stuff. If you decide to pull the trigger and want to come out and join us, hit the rules page, read through the rules all the way at the bottom of that page. It tells you how to register to come race with us. Once I get your email, I'll get you everything you need to come out and play with us. We look forward to having some new drivers out here. We really enjoy competition. I just can't thank all of my guys once again enough for everything that they've done. They've stuck behind me, and they've stuck behind this league and stuck with this league for years on end. And it means a lot that they want to continue racing with me and with each other. We're more than just friends. We're a really big family over here. We help each other on the racetrack. If we can, we help each other off the racetrack. I really enjoy racing and being with each and every one of these guys. And looking back to going back weekly racing next week.
Well, Chris, as always, it is our pleasure to come out and do these races with you guys at Excel. Y'all put on a fantastic show. It's always enjoyable up here in the booth for us. And again, congratulations on the win here tonight, the successful week, and cannot thank you enough for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Weaver. Thank you, New Smyrna Speedway. We'll see you next time.
Chris Rogers, driver of the 00. You can catch him here at Excel Racing or, well, at Riverhead Raceway. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And Weaver, that's going to conclude our coverage of New Smyrna Speedweek here tonight. We saw 6 excellent races. And in the end, Kyle Lawson comes away with the championship, but Chris Rogers comes away with the last victory.
Yeah, Joe, I think this weekend lived up to the hype that we gave it all week. Second year here, hope we're back for many more.
a fantastic race here tonight. Fantastic races throughout the week. So that's why you want to sign up at excelracing.net. Again, we got it linked down in the video description below. Chris and his entire team, not only just a good group of guys, but really willing to help everyone get their, improve their skills, get better, which is something that sometimes is hard to come by in online leagues. So cannot recommend Excel Racing enough and all the things that Chris and his entire team do here. Remember, if you want to keep up to date with us here on JTN, you have a bunch of great ways to do so. Best, of course, is to make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube and click the bell icon to be notified when we go live or when new videos are posted. But you can also follow us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. We're also simulcasting all these broadcasts over on Twitch at twitch.tv/JoeTowNetwork. Next time we're live is going to be Monday night, February the 13th, with the TMP Supercar Series from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Going to be a fun one on Monday with some more short track racing with TMP. And again, folks, cannot thank you enough for tuning in here tonight. For all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Joseph Weaver, I've been Joe Twanty. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checkered. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh! Turn 4 into the tri-oval. Whitehill in through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the line and a wreckage behind him. We have cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Sinner and Bordeaux for
The contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.
Jack Healy wins